Okay, you guys can hear me, see me, everything's good, live, we're recording. All right. There's a little bit of lag. Okay, we're good now. So I want to make this real quick video for you guys today. I'm not gonna drag it for too long. So this is the reason I want to make this video today. I was speaking to a guy, and Angie's and Thumbtack basically drained his wallet, drained his bank account, right? And I don't think this is anything new, especially in the construction industry. Everyone looks up to Angie's and Thumbtack, and they think it's this beautiful company. It's like the go-to company, right? I was talking to a guy, bro. This guy spends around 3.5K a month on Angie's and Thumbtack combined, right? And I asked him, how many jobs do you close from this? Bro, this guy said maybe two or three, right? So I did the math. You spend around 3.5K. You close around three jobs. That's like around 600, $700 cost value per job, right? Let's just say an average 12K average, that's like 5.5% of his revenue going to pay for those leads. Then I asked him, how much do you spend on Facebook ads, right? He said, yeah, around 300 a month. I get four jobs, right? 300 divided by four, that's $75 per job, right? He's spending six times more on Angie's and Thumbtack just to get fewer jobs, and he didn't even realize it. He just thought he was getting himself out there. But no, he wasn't. He was basically just donating money to Angie's and Thumbtack. That's basically what he was doing. You guys really need to actually do the math on what you're spending and see the data, right? You need to actually, just as what I said, you need to start tracking things, right? And you need to see what's actually making a difference and what's not, because sometimes I feel like you guys are just throwing money blindly at things without even tracking things, wondering and wishing it's gonna work and everything goes with the flow, but that's not how it actually is, right? This is how Angie's and Thumbtack works, right? Let me first explain to you how the whole platform works, right? So you understand the model, right? Sometimes, for Angie's, you guys pay them a membership fee, whether it be some type of monthly fee or whatever, right? You create a profile, you put up your review, your services, your service area. Homeowners now go to, these platforms or whatever, and they search for, contractors in bathroom remodel near me on Angie's or whatever, right? Something like that, right? And then you bid on their projects sometimes, right? If you get connected, you win the bid, right? Now, Angie's takes a cut of, the jobs booked through them sometimes, right? Plus the membership fee that you already paid. Now, for Thumbtack, right? It's free to sign up. It's free to create a profile similar to Angie's. Homeowners post projects. You get the notifications. You bid on these projects, and then you submit proposals, right? Thumbtack charges you a referral fee, and then you get the lead, whether it be like $20 or whatever per lead contact, right? Plus, you pay for every bid you submit, right? Sometimes it might be $5 per bid or something like that. If you get the job, Thumbtack takes around 15 to 20% of that initial first payment, plus the processing fees, right? So this is the model. Like, both platforms operate on this same principle. We send you homeowners, you pay us per lead or per job. It sounds reasonable, but here's what's actually happening. And you guys don't seem to catch this, right? Scenario one, right? Let's just say you're using Angie's, right? You're paying a monthly fee of $200, whatever, right? You get around 8 to 12 leads per month. You submit around 8 to 12 bids. You book like 2 to 3 jobs from Angie's or whatever. Angie's takes a 10 or 15% cut of their first payment plus the processing fees. Let's say the average job value is around 12K. Angie's takes around 1.8K of that 12K, 15% of that, plus the processing fees, which is like $400. Now your total cost per job is like 2.1K, something somewhere around there, right? Now you compare that to Facebook. You spend $300, you get like what, 30 leads per month, book 3 to 4 jobs. Cost per job is $60 to $75, right? Now you're paying more for Angie's. Same thing, like I don't have to break down the Thumbtack, right? Another thing with Angie's I realize is none of your appointments or none of your leads are exclusive. So yeah, you might get the bid, but then you have six other contractors fighting for that one lead, which it makes it so much harder for you to go ahead and convert that lead. Like now when that happens, there's no unique mechanisms. Now what you're doing, they'll just go for whoever does it for the lowest price. That's what's going through the buyer's head, right? And that's not the way you want to go through things. That just makes everything so much more harder, um, on your end. Like why would you want to go through that, right? Sometimes you might get the lead they don't pick up, all right, or you don't even know if you have a good conversion rate on landing these jobs, right? None of you guys actually track things. Hopefully some of you guys do, but most of you guys I speak to, you don't track anything at all. I don't know why, right? So you got to be tracking these things, right? All the tiniest data you have to be tracking. How many leads you're getting, how many of them are converting, how many of them are qualified, right? How many of them are actually reasonable within the budget spend of their project, right? All of this stuff matters, right? So this is why contractors still use these um, Angie's and Thumbtack. Let's just say these platforms are pretty expensive. Why do you guys still use them, right? So reason one is perceived legitimacy, right? So just because Angie's List is a big company, they must vet contractors. But the truth is, right? They do basic vetting. It's not rigorous. It's not some crazy vetting system. Homeowners think, Angie's List means quality. So contractors think, oh yeah, if I'm on Angie's List, people will trust me more, right? But you get the same trust with Google reviews. You can get the same trust by actually building a proper portfolio on your website, right? You don't have to be on Angie's List to get that trust built, right? Reason two would be, passive lead generation, right? You don't have to advertise to a market if you just have a profile and you wait for leads to come in. It feels easy, but in reality, you're paying a fortune for that easiness, which is not even easy. You're just shooting yourself in the foot because none of these guys are exclusive, right? Now, three, false sense of predictability, right? You're like, hey, if I pay Angie's X amount of money per month and now get X amount of leads, um, so let me just do the math and then let's just say half of those leads don't convert. At least I'll get one of them to convert. Yeah, you might, but you could be getting a way lower cost per job value for trying other things, other venues, right? You're probably draining a lot more money, um, by not trying different things, right? And that leads me to my other option. You don't know any other alternatives. You guys don't know about Google local service ads. You guys don't know about Facebook ads. You guys don't know about building your own organic content funneling system. So you just think, oh, lead gen equals Angie's or Thumbtack. So you guys go ahead and use them, right? So, and another thing is just sunk cost fallacy, right? You've been on Angie's List for 2 years, so you might as well keep paying, even if it's costing you money. You should stop, but not keep paying because of past investment, right? And six, right? None of you guys actually track anything, so you guys don't know. You're literally just spending money blindly, right? Or how many jobs you close from those platforms. You need to know the conversions of your numbers. If you don't track anything, you're not going to know if you're improving or not improving or not improving. You're basically just flying blind, right? Now let me kind of double down on like the hidden problems like people don't talk about. You don't own the relationship. A customer found you through Angie's List or Thumbtack. They don't have your contact information. They don't follow you on your social media platform. They don't know you anything about your website. So when they need work again, they're going to Angie's, right? They're going to Angie's again and again if they need another work, or they'll just find a competitor. So you lose repeat business and referrals. With having your own Facebook account set up, with your own website, all of that stuff, you capture their info and you build a relationship with them, and then so they're able to come back to you. You're basically building your own database, and with them, you can retarget them in the future if you like as well, right? Send email newsletters, all that stuff, retargeting campaigns. You can always do that with Angie's List. If you just rely on them, they're basically being the middleman from the market and you, right? Now, another thing is, I think I already covered this, low quality leads, right? Now, homeowners on Angie's List and Thumbtack. Keep getting a call. Homeowners on Angie's and Thumbtack, they're just like I said, they're just since there's so many of you guys, they'll just get like 5 quotes from 5 different contractors, and they'll just pick the cheapest. And now that's what happens. You run into a bunch of tire kickers and a bunch of price shoppers and all of that. Not people ready to hire based on reputation and quality, right? Now, this is problem three, which leads from that, especially on Thumbtack. You bid for projects. Now you're literally competing with every other contractor. You will literally kill your own margins to kind of get the job. It's just like a competition on price, not quality, not value. It's all about price, and this is so bad for business in general. You don't wanna do that. And now what happens is now you guys are dependent on the algorithm, right? On Angie's and Thumbtack algorithm to show your profile based on literally depend on them to show your profile to homeowners. You have no control of anything, right? The algorithm could change tomorrow. You might get 0 leads. Pipeline literally depends on their rules, right? That's you're like, again, you're flying blind. There's no actual control on what you're doing, right? And now if there's a problem, good luck getting help. These platforms have 1,000 contractors on there. You're not a priority. I've literally heard of stories of contractors not getting paid, getting charged incorrectly, profiles being hidden, and customer support doesn't even help, right? So with your own channels, if you, like I said, when you create your own pipelines, you have control over everything, right? Which is way better, right? And you get to collect your own data. It's a lot better when you're in control of your own ship, right? So here's what you should be doing instead. You might, alternative one, transition over to Facebook ads. Two, start Google local service ads. Three, build a proper referral system. Four, get your own website, get your own SEO, get all that stuff running. Five, build your own content funneling system. I mean, the list goes on, right? Start an email marketing campaign. The list goes on, right? And like I said, don't just rely on one pipeline. Have multiple pipelines up, right? So, here's the thing. Some contractors say I use Angie's and Facebook, double the channels, double the leads. Yeah, and just I'll do both. But theoretically, it sounds normal to say like that, but you're basically just diluting your effort. Again, master one pipeline first, and then move on to the next. Right? If you start all five, you're just gonna dilute all. You're just gonna be all like diluted with them. Pick one, master it, and then pick the one with the best conversion rates and the best return on your investment, whether it be Google, Facebook, or referrals, or whatever other options I've listed, right? So now, what if you're already on Thumbtack and Angie's, and you're reading this like, crap, I'm on there. What do I do? Step one, go 3 months back, track everything. How much did you spend? How much did you spend on Angie's? How much did you spend on Thumbtack? How many jobs did you close from each? And what is your cost per job? Right? Write it down, compare alternatives, right? Now try another alternative. Do the same thing. Do the same thing with every single pipeline and make a decision on what is doing the best, what actually is bringing you a proper ROI. Now, if you stay, um, you know, if you stay with Angie's or whatever you do, whatever you stick with, whatever you pick, or whatever pipeline you pick, try to minimize the spend as much as you can, right? And see if how much can you minimize the spend and maximize the ROI. That's the whole point of running a lean machine, right? And it's literally as simple as that, right? Because at the end of the day, right, these platforms, you need to understand this. The Angie's List and Thumbtack are marketing companies. They're not there to support. They're not a contractor supporting company. They make money by taking a cut of every job you book through them. Their incentive is to maximize the number of contractors on the platform, the number of jobs booked, not to help you guys maximize your profit. So they'll accept a ton of contractors, aka, well, this will flood the market, and then show the lowest bidder first, encouraging the price competition, and then take cut of every job, right, that gets processed, and then charge you a membership and per lead and processing fees. So it's literally layered revenue extraction, right? While these other pipelines are completely different, which I'm not going to tell you right now. Yeah, I want you guys to actually use your brain and go ahead and explore them. um, but I already mentioned so many of them right now. So guys, and if you're currently spending money on Angie's or Thumbtack or Home Advisor, and you're not sure if you're getting a good ROI from them, and want to know what channels actually work for your trade, and tired of being on platforms that take a lot of your revenue. um, Either you could go ahead and do it yourself, do some research yourself, or you can go ahead and book a call with me, and then we can get a action plan going for you. Whether you're in the bathroom remodeling, kitchen remodeling, any home improvement service niche, or you do HVAC or anything like that, go ahead and book a call with me, and then we'll see what we can do for you, and we'll build a custom plan to see where you guys are stuck at, what you're struggling at, and then we'll take it from there, and show you a realistic timeline to you being profitable, right? So, short little video here. I didn't want to drag it out for too long. But if you guys have any other video topics or anything like that you want me to discuss, go ahead and drop it in the comments. And with that being said, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one.